The April 27th regular meeting of the Town Board of the Town of Wappinger. May Town Clerk Paoloni please call the roll.
Councilman Beal.
Here.
Councilwoman Dell.
Here.
Councilman Phillips.
Here.
Councilman Casella.
Here.
And Supervisor Cavasini.
Here. In just a moment, we'll ask you to join us for the Pledge of Allegiance to the flag. That will be followed by an invocation led by our good friend, the Reverend Dr. Edward L. Hunt from the Bethel Missionary Baptist Church in the village of Wappingers Falls. And then that will be followed by a moment of silent meditation in memory of two of our town's residents. I learned today that Lou DeFelice, who was an active member of our community as a part of the Wappinger Senior Center Photo Club for many years, has passed away. That is a tremendous loss to our community, as well as Susan Doyler, a active member of our senior center community. She also passed away. So we ask that you keep them in your memory and keep their families in your thoughts and prayers.
We can also remember former Fire Chief Tim Laffin of the Hewsonville and Wappingers Falls Fire Department, who was laid to rest last week. He served in leadership capacities in both fire departments over a 3-decade period.
Absolutely. We acknowledged him at our last meeting, and we'll do so again today.
Thank you.
Thank you. Please rise. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Please remain standing.
Let us pray. Dear Father and our God, we humbly come before you and we ask for your blessings upon this community. We thank you for the leadership that you have ordained us to have. We thank you for the people that live here in a beautiful sense of harmony. Lord, we pray that as this meeting goes on, that our community will be enriched, that you will inspire the leadership to lead us and to guide us through everything that they see that needs to be attended to. We pray for the world that we live in. We pray for the men and women of the armed services, the sacrifice that they make in our behalf. And now, as this meeting begins, we ask that you open up our hearts, our minds, and our spirits, and we pray according to our faith community. In my tradition, we say, Amen.
Thank you. Please be seated. Thank you, Reverend. Okay. All right. Do I have a motion to adopt the agenda?
I'll move it. Second.
Moved by Councilman Casella, second by Councilman Phillips. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes. Do I have a motion to acknowledge the minutes from the special town board meeting on April 20th, 2026?
I'll move it.
Second.
Moved by Councilwoman Odell, second by Councilman Casella. All in favor? Aye. Motion passes. Folks, we have two public hearings scheduled this evening on two local laws. What I would like to do is ask that we continue to adjourn. The first public hearing, and that is regarding voiding that local law that was never actually adopted by the town board back in 2020. And I'd ask that we adjourn that until June 8th at the meeting there.
Second.
Moved by Councilman Beal, second by Councilman Casella. All in favor?
Aye.
That public hearing is adjourned to June 8th. The next public hearing is a resolution introducing local law amending Chapter 230, Vehicles and Traffic of the Town Code of the Town of Wappinger to regulate parking on Myers Corners Road. Do I have a motion to open the public hearing?
I'll move it.
Second.
Moved by Councilman Phillips, second by Councilman Beal. All in favor?
Aye.
The public hearing on the proposed local law is now open. If you'd like to speak on it, you have 3 minutes. We ask that you give your name and address for the record. Seeing none, do I have a motion to close the public hearing?
I'll move it.
Moved by Councilman Casella, second by Councilman Beal. All in favor?
Aye.
Hearing is now closed. Moving along to our public portion. Do I have a motion to open the public portion?
Move.
Second.
Moved by Councilman Phillips, second by Councilwoman Odell. All in favor?
Aye.
Folks, if you'd like to speak on agenda items, we ask you come up to the podium, state your name and address for the record. You have 3 minutes.
Hello, good
Hello.
evening, everyone.
Good to see you.
Good evening.
Am I allowed to speak about the resolution?
Which resolution are you?
Zone 26, I think it is.
You're wishing to speak on the
2026.
zoning resolution that was from the last meeting?
Yes.
Oh, okay, yes, you can speak on that.
Oh, okay. All right, so I am a homeowner at 13 Susich Place, and I am in favor of the rezoning of the area that would limit the amount of single-family construction per acreage. I believe it's from quarter to what they're proposing to 5 acre, if I understand correctly. And the reason why I feel that way, and some of my fellow Susich Place homeowners are here, if you could raise your hand, is that we're concerned about a few things. First of all, we're concerned about the density of the area. And most of us, I've been here for over 20 years. People have been here for more than that. And one of the lures of moving up here is the aesthetic, the quality of life. And that's very important to us, and as we age in place, that also is important. And so I'm also concerned about the impact of community services and how building more houses will, more people, and we already have a strain on our community services, police, EMS, fire. And so I'm concerned about that. I'm also concerned about the traffic. I mean, as it is, I'm retired, and when I first came up here 20 years ago, during the week, if I had a day off, there was hardly any traffic on the road. Now it's like rush hour. It doesn't matter what time you're there. So I'm concerned about more traffic. I'm also concerned about a tax increase, because as the value of homes go up, and we all know that to build a house, even a small house, is a lot of money, and that's going to raise our taxes. And for those of us who are on fixed income, that's going to propose a problem for us. And like I said, there are a lot of seniors in the area who are on fixed incomes and are worried about how we're going to make ends meet. I mean, with everything else, we went shopping, my husband and I, we spent $500, and it's just me and my husband. I can't imagine how some of the families that we have in the area, which I'm so grateful for, we have families now, that how they're managing. And so the other thing is the impact on the environment, the habitat. You know, it's beautiful. You know, you see deer, you see foxes, you see bears. There, you know, it's all natural. And if you start cutting down the environment to build houses, it's going to impact that as well. And so with that in mind, you know, I am in agreement with proposing this resolution to limit what you can build a single house, the footprint or the parcel of a single-family home. So with that, I thank you for giving me the opportunity to speak.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Would anyone else like to speak on the public portion? Seeing none, do I have a motion to close the public portion?
I'll move it.
Second.
Moved by Councilman Casella, second by Councilman Beal. All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you very much. Moving along to our consent agenda. Resolution 2026-112, resolution authorizing the establishment of an escrow account for Myers Corner LLC, also known as DeGarmo Hills Plaza, in connection with their application to connect to the United Wappinger Sewer District. Resolution 2026-113, resolution acknowledging promotion of employee to head maintenance mechanic in the Buildings and Grounds Department. Resolution 2026-114, resolution determining non-significance of the acquisition and the resolution of the Town Board of the Town of Wappinger, New York State Environmental Quality Review Act, also known as SEQR, determination of non-significance on the proposed action to acquire the 326 acres of open space in Cranberry Hills. And Resolution 2026-115, correspondence log. Do I have a motion?
I'll make a motion.
Second.
Moved by Councilman Casella, second by Councilwoman Odell. Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Consent resolutions have been adopted. Moving along to the non-consent agenda. Resolution 2026-87, resolution approving settlement of Mid-Hudson Development Corporation and Mid-Hudson Holdings LLC versus Town of Wappinger. Do I have a motion for discussion?
I'll move it. Second.
Moved by Councilman Casella, second by Councilman Phillips. On the discussion, this town has been in litigation regarding this project since before I was in office. And this proposed project originally was upwards of 1,000 multifamily units in the area of Cedar Hill Road. We have since prevented that from happening with our zoning code changes and the comprehensive plan update. There has been continued code actions that have reduced the size and scope of this project, and essentially this settlement would limit on that 139-acre parcel no more than 39 single-family homes. And that, I think, is definitely a win because, again, in terms of zoning, they are allowed 139 single-family homes as of right. So no more than 39 single-family homes. At the end of the day, 100 acres would be preserved, and it remains consistent with the zoning. Again, this is up for discussion with the town board. And again, I will yield to my colleagues on their thoughts on this.
So we did get approval from the planning board, correct? So I
We
know that
don't
was one
need
of the-
approval from the planning board. That was something that was done. They did give their consent, but I
they did
was a
agree.
firm believer that we did not need their approval on this.
No, but we did that. I think that's one of the things we were waiting for that held us up previously.
Yes, and again, that was something that I was not in favor of. I did not think that the planning board needed to opine on this. But yes,
But they did.
yes.
Okay.
Because again, this is an action that was in front of the town board. This is a town board action.
And I think we've all had discussions. I didn't mean to cut you off. I know you're ready to say something, but
Yeah, I was just going to say, there's a lot that goes on behind the scenes that we can't discuss because of litigation, obviously, from the dais. And this is an example of the town really working on behalf of the residents to minimize the impacts on a proposed development that, as of right, as the supervisor said, could build over 100 homes. And this has gone on for years. And we believe this settlement is fair. And that it's going to be in the best interest of the town. And what some folks may not realize is that it's not just as simple as the town not allowing development, because there are laws that have provisions to allow for property owners to develop their property, and certainly we respect that. But at the same time, our responsibility is to ensure that impacts are minimized and that all of the T's are crossed and the I's are dotted properly. And it can be very time-consuming, and it can be very difficult at times to reach consensus when we're faced with litigation. In this particular case, I think this is the best route for the town to take, and certainly, as the supervisor expressed, the impacts have been not only discussed at length, but we believe that we have provided for a minimized impact on that area, preserving the character, and most importantly, preserving, I believe, 100 acres of land in that area. So I am supporting this and certainly believe that having witnessed the probably hundreds of hours of discussion on this, that we have done our due diligence.
Yes, this is something that has gone on for quite some time. And it definitely did not come about in an easy way, because again, this is something that has gone on for quite some time, upwards of really 5 years. And again, proposals originally of multifamily dwellings in single-family zoned areas, high traffic, and there was no benefit to the taxpayers and no benefit to the residents on this. And I want to emphasize that this is a cap. So essentially, this is a new cap that's placed on them, rather than right now the current cap of 139 as of right zone, right? This is now a new cap of 39. That property is very challenging in terms of its topography, in terms of wetlands, steep slopes. And I'm going to say on the record, I would be surprised if there is 39 there. But again, this is something that was carefully looked at, and again, would still require planning board approval and still require additional approvals. So this is just placing a cap from the town board's perspective on the zoning.
The other thing that I just want to mention, having occurred over a number of administrations, we do have among the most strict wetland laws in Dutchess County here in the town of Wappinger. So when someone has a piece of property that may have an as-of right to build X number of homes, we are sensitive to the fact that those laws exist to protect our environment and to minimize impacts. So that was another aspect of this that was looked very closely, especially with the tributaries that are in that particular area, to ensure that we have covered every potential impact, and I believe that we have.
Any further discussion? Seeing, oh, yeah,
All good.
all right. Seeing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? None, thank you very much. Motion passes. Resolution 2026-104, resolution adopting local law number 8 of 2026, which we would declare the instrument filed with the New York State Secretary of State as local law number 1 of 2020 of the town of Wappinger is void for failure to comply with the requirements of the municipal home rule law. I make a motion to table also to the June 8th meeting.
Second.
Moved by myself, second by Councilwoman Odell. Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Resolution 2026-105, resolution to amend the town zoning map to add identified areas to R5A, 1 family residence, 5-acre zoning, as well as provide greenway findings and declare lead agency for this proposed action. We have a motion for discussion.
I'm going to move that this remain tabled based on our discussion a week ago. We are currently awaiting additional data, and I think, as the supervisor recommended previously, a workshop meeting to discuss the parcels would be appropriate so that we can have all the necessary data to make the decisions based on parcel.
Second. And water.
Correct.
Motion to table by Councilman Beal, second by Councilwoman Odell. All in favor?
Aye.
This remains tabled, folks. Resolution 2026-116, resolution authorizing, subject to permissive referendum, the issuance of $2,754,000 of bonds, the town of Wappinger, Dutchess County, New York, to pay for the cost of the acquisition of the land to serve as a new town central park in and for said town. Do I have a motion for discussion?
I'll move it.
Second.
Moved by Councilman Casella, second by Councilwoman Odell on the discussion. Folks, as many of you know, this town has taken historic action in terms of securing and preserving the property known as Cranberry Hills. That is 326 acres in the center of our town. Proposals on that property were as high as 1,200 multifamily units that we have prevented with our code changes. And as of right, zoning could have been 150 homes. If this town board did not take the action that we did, you would have seen an application as early as June in front of the town planning board for 150 homes. We prevented that, And we have secured this property, which, as I said in my presentation, which is available on the town website, that this property has the greatest impact to serve the most residents in this town, being preserved as a central park for our community, but it also had the greatest impact negatively if left to development in our town. That type of traffic coming out onto Myers Corners Road, onto Widmere Road, onto various neighborhoods, such as Split Tree and Hearthstone, would have been detrimental to this town. Again, you'll see here tonight there is a common theme, and that is mitigating the impact of high-density development in our town and pausing to preserve the quality of life of our town. That has been a hallmark of this administration. It's something that we have been working on as a town board to make sure it's a reality. So not only have we limited this through town code changes, through updating our comprehensive plan, but we are taking action. And that is, again, I'm looking forward to a fruitful discussion at our next town board meeting with all of the documentation on the zoning map process, which will have all of that. We'll take a section to be a workshop discussion. But also moving forward with the acquisition of this parcel, the 326 acres formerly known as Cranberry Hills. Since our first town meeting that we acted on this and authorized me to negotiate and to secure the property, we are now in contract. We ceremonially signed the contract with the property owner on Earth Day. That was after the permissive referendum period of 30 days. And we had that on the property, which was a truly beautiful experience. Since then, we've been able to bring town board members, elected officials, members of the public onto the property to see the sheer beauty of this land. And we are looking forward to moving forward quite quickly on making this a passive recreation park. What you see here tonight is authorizing us to move forward with bonds toward the acquisition of this property as we await to hear if we've acquired the grant. We applied for a $3.5 million grant, which would cover the full cost of the property and then some. And that process will take quite some time, hearing from New York State DEC. And to move this process along, I am requesting approval from the town board to move forward with bonding. This way we have access to funds to move this along within our 60-day period that we have now just signed on to in our contract to close and to formally take ownership of the property. I would like to note that if we do get the grant, the bond is paid in full. This, again, just authorizes the funds for us to move forward.
I think before we bond, we should have the discussion of what to do with the property.
Have we not?
No.
Maybe you haven't.
Well, I have not seen a plan from anybody. I don't have any idea what, there's 5 people who have input on what we do with the property, and we should sit as a board and have a workshop and discuss what to do with it.
Councilman, that's what we had a whole meeting about, where we had over 100 residents come to.
What's it going to cost when we roll that into the cost of the bond, et cetera, et cetera?
This is for the acquisition of the property.
No, I would like to have those discussions for me to go forward with bonding.
I respect that.
So for me, and I'll just be frank, there are efforts at the state level to usurp home rule
Yes.
and incentivize multifamily developers to come into municipalities and build multifamily housing on large tracts of land. It's a fact. That's why I support this. We have a piece of property that I believe in the vision of a central park, and I appreciate the councilman's point, no disrespect intended, but I think that we need to not hesitate in a situation like this, because once that moratorium ends, that minute there will be applications arriving here for development on that property, and we can't afford to take that risk. This is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity in my opinion, and I've been here for a long time, and I've heard the words Cranberry Hills probably more than anybody in this room, because there've been so many proposals, and actually Joe was with me, with 500 plus, 1,200 plus, whatever, these crazy numbers that have come in. I mean, there's fire hydrants in the woods, right? It's because they were preparing to build out that property. And one of the plans I actually thought was pretty attractive, and then 2008, 2009 happened, and the bottom fell out of the economy, and that plan went away. So now, the chance we take here is inaction can lead to a potential rewriting of seeker, which is happening at the state level,
Right now,
which I believe, and this is just my opinion, I believe the state of New York is making an effort to utilize seeker to give themselves home rule with respect to multifamily housing in municipalities. And we can't take that chance, because the state of New York could potentially create a mechanism where they can determine that we're going to drop 500 multifamily affordable houses or affordable housing units in our town. And that property right there, as we discussed at the last meeting or 2 meetings ago, would be challenging to even have 150 single-family dwellings on. We
So,
saw,
Councilman, we unanimously agreed to go to contract on it. We put a down payment on it. So we've got 60 days to have a discussion on what to do with almost $3 million of our residents' money. I've been clear, I'm for buying the property. I want to know what we're going to do with it.
well,
And the residents should know too.
well, at the end of the day, I believe that's what we've discussed publicly.
So then let's.
But
sit,
we're
have a
going to
meeting.
delay the point even more. And this is
So
my
let's have a
frustration.
plan.
No, we do have a plan, and we've discussed it.
you might have a plan.
No,
I've
we
never
discussed it publicly, Councilman, and I think that you're doing your residents wrong. When they showed up to this meeting, you had over 100 residents, many of which live in your ward, come to that meeting showing support. Land only appreciates in value, Councilman. This is open space preservation. I'm sorry that I'm getting a little upset, but this is not being genuine right now. We, as a board,
Wait a second,
spoke
don't you
publicly.
dare say I'm not being genuine.
you're not.
We're spending almost $3 million without a plan that.
We have a plan.
Then show
We
it
have
to
a
me.
plan.
Then
We did.
show it
We
to me.
gave a public presentation.
Show me what the
I'm
costs
sorry you
are.
don't read your email, Councilman.
all right, hold on.
Wait.
We can solve this right now. We can solve, it's easy to solve these things. He has the right to get more information, right? We need to schedule a workshop anyway, right? I'm not saying it needs to be in 3 weeks. We can schedule a workshop meeting in the next 5 days
But I
to
don't-
have the conversation.
But I don't appreciate that there's no plan. There is a plan.
I've never been emailed a plan. We've never sat as a board and talked about a
We
plan.
sat here publicly
Well, it
and
said
as
we
the
could
most
do this,
transparent
We could do that, we could
option.
do this, we could do that.
And that was the opportunity to talk
So,
about it.
that's right, and I said, so what's a pool gonna cost? What's a playground gonna cost? We don't know these things. We need to know these things.
And you're not going to get that within the next couple of weeks. You're not. At the end of the day, now we're going to delay the process while New York State is actively looking to supersede our home rule authority, and while the property owner is
You're in
looking...
contract for the property.
The property owner has not signed our end of the contract, and we need to move forward with this. We need to move forward with this.
All right, can it wait till this weekend?
I would say no.
Okay.
Because my argument is, we've talked about it.
No, listen, let me just say it this way. You have a grand vision, which I appreciate. And I think what the councilman's looking for is some specific, plan, specific, more specific. I mean, as I said at the meeting, I appreciate your vision. I think that's, an attribute of a solid leader, and that's what you're doing. I think that the councilman wants some additional information with respect to what specifically we want to do in different portions of the land. I know we've talked about some of this hypothetically. Maybe we have to have further discussion as a board to gain consensus. We need 4 votes to bond, correct?
Correct.
Okay. I mean, I'm voting yes, but I do appreciate the councilman's question.
But I don't appreciate when it's seeming that we're buying a piece of property with no vision, because that is now going to be, that's now going to be the narrative out there, and that is not accurate.
We've given ideas. We've given ideas. You may have a narrative to yourself. I have never seen a plan.
To myself.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you, Councilman. I'd like to ask the town clerk for a roll call vote on this, please.
I'd like to make a comment first before you do that, please. So first of all, I have to say, I understand what Councilman Phillips is saying, but I think this is important that we move quickly on this. Again, we need to ensure that, again, with the seeker changes potentially coming down the road, that we have to, again, make a move on this. What this does is, this allows us to say we're going to bond for this. It takes 2 months to bond for it. In that period of time, I think what we can do is talk about some of the ideas that we have for the property itself. But I don't want to see this hold this bonding going forward, and I think that's probably something we can do maybe in the next meeting or so. But again, I don't want to hold up the process. We want to make sure that we go ahead and we bond for this, we take care of it so that somebody else doesn't come in and try to swoop up the property. So I understand where you're coming from, but I think that we move forward tonight with the bonding, but I think that we do is in 2 weeks, or whenever the next session is, work session, we have a discussion on, these are the kind of things that we like to do. And I know we've seen some from your presentation.
But again, that's all part of this process. This is an investment. This is an opportunity for us to secure open space. This is an investment in our community, and that is all going to happen. There are residents that have reached out and said, we'd like to contribute ideas. It's going to be part of a 400-acre parcel once we combine all of our properties. It's nearly impossible to think that we're going to delay this, and I know how these things work, we're going to delay this till the next meeting and expect to get it done. I think then that's expediting the process.
So you're missing my point. I never said the delay, because
No,
I
I'm not
support
saying
it.
you. I'm not saying you, Councilman. I'm not saying you, Councilman Casella. I'm saying that if we table this, and I'm not saying that you said this, obviously Councilman Phillips mentioned it, we know how this stuff works. We would not be doing the due diligence that is required anyway. There is a plan. The idea is open space. It's an investment. It only appreciates in value. And we will continue to reach out to our community to hear what they want on that property. Again, this is going to take time.
Yeah.
As everyone has noted, time is of the essence here. And Councilman Casella, we had a conversation today, which I appreciated, and that described the urgency of this. That again, while we are actively doing this process, there are developers circling this property. Let's be honest here.
And speaking of the residents, I've spoken to lots of residents, especially in my ward, that are very much in favor of this, and I'm also in favor of bonding for this property. I think that we should move forward, bond with it, and if we do get the grants, that would be amazing, but I think we should go forward.
All right. I've still requested a roll call vote. Town Clerk
guys ready?
Maloney?
And let me just say this, we're passionate, right? Let's not take things personal. The councilman has a right to his opinion based on principle. Let's understand that.
Okay, you guys ready?
Yeah?
Councilman Beal,
All right.
Councilwoman Odell,
Aye.
Supervisor Cavazzini,
Aye.
Councilman Phillips.
I'll abstain.
What is
I abstain.
abstain? Okay, Councilman Casella.
Yes.
Okay, it's 4 votes yes, 1 abstain, and no no's, so you can bond.
Right.
Thank you very much. The motion passes. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you. Resolution 2026-117, resolution authorizing the 2026 budget amendment. Do I have a motion for discussion?
I'll move it.
Second.
Moved by Councilwoman Odell, second by Councilman Casella. On the discussion, folks, obviously, we are trying to get into the new habit of, with our fully functioning comptroller's office, be regularly updating the budget. This shows more revenue actuals coming in, as well as some surprise expenses such as the roof blowing off at the highway department, the one section that we did not fix. So this covers those expenses. I believe the town comptroller provided the town board with a memo and a detailed summary of those amendments.
Yeah, so that was very helpful in what he provided, the detail, gave us a more insight as to what was going on. So we had a couple of pensions, as an example, that we weren't expecting to hit. We had the roof, for example, over at the highway garage. So there's a number of unexpected expenditures, but also there was a number of revenue increases as well that help offset that,
Additional
whether it be
revenue
sale
in the first
tax,
quarter, which was very good.
mortgage tax revenue. So we had a lot of revenue offset. So even though we do have to dip into fund balance a little bit, it's minimal. And there are a couple new items on here that we also included in here that again, something that we needed to do here. So again, I think, again, what the controller provided to the group here, a lot more detail than we've seen in the past, and very well thought out. And again, it gives us a comfort level that this is the right thing to do, and we should be passing this amendments. And I think it's a good thing we're doing this on a quarterly basis versus waiting until year end. Typically, what we do is we wait till fourth quarter, and then you have these huge numbers you have to do. I'd rather take a look at it, get our team focused on, look at your spending now, look at quarterly. If there's an issue, bring the issue forward now. Don't wait till the end of the year. And this way, we can take care of it, we can resolve it. If we need to move money around, we can. But I think it's important that, we, again, as we agreed to from a board perspective, do it on a quarterly basis, and it makes sense.
And I want to emphasize, folks, that we are incredibly fiscally conscious, and this town is the most affordable town in Dutchess County, not by accident, but through processes like this. And our budget, I'd like to stress, only $9 million of a $21 million operating budget, only $9 million is levied on the property taxpayers. We are very proactive when it comes to finding alternate forms of revenue. Our recycle center innovation project up there, by eliminating a third-party operator, processing the refuse in-house, has saved money, and that's already showing up in the first quarter. Opening up various venues to the public to use, acquiring grants. We have been very, very diligent with that, and I personally appreciate the quarterly approach. This way the town board and our residents get to see the good work that our team in town hall do daily, making sure that we are as fiscally responsible as possible. So I appreciate your support on this resolution.
The only thing, and I appreciate the comptroller creating this memo, but I would say in the future, if the memo can be attached to the resolution, just so that the residents
Absolutely.
can see it. I know it was late this time, but it is available if anyone wants to review it. It's basically explains in plain English what these letters and numbers mean. So thank you for making sure this was done.
Thank you. All right. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes. Thank you. Resolution 2026-118, resolution adopting local law, amending Chapter 230, Vehicles and Traffic of the Town Code of the Town of Wappinger to regulate parking on Myers Corners Road. Do we have a motion for discussion?
Move.
Second.
Moved by Councilman Beals, second by Councilman Odell. On the discussion, folks, we discussed this at our last meeting. This was at the request of the Wappinger Central School District as well as the Dutchess County Sheriff's Office for us to restrict parking from the westernmost intersection of Old Myers Corners Road and Myers Corners Road all the way to Route 9. There is a significant influx of those parents picking up their children from Myers Corners Road, parking alongside Myers Corners Road, and creating a number of unsafe situations. We are not planning on issuing tickets, but this obviously gives the Sheriff's Office the ability to encourage folks to move off the street and elsewhere. This way, traffic can continue to flow in the area of the elementary school as well as the high school during pickup and dismissal times, and we support them on this. So, any further discussion?
Just that safety is paramount, especially when it comes to our kids.
Thank you, Councilwoman. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you very much. The local law has been adopted. Moving along to items for special consideration and new business. It's been very busy. We've been very busy. There has been a lot of common themes throughout our administration. Again, that's not by accident. That is, again, everything we're doing is to enhance the quality of life of our town, and we obviously get passionate behind that. I wake up every day, and this is my job. This is my 24/7 job, and we are very passionate about getting these things done. And at the end of the day, they have direct consequences. The actions that we take as a town board, collectively, have actions on your day-to-day life. And that's why the proposals that we bring forward, they deserve the passion that we bring. Because at the end of the day, you're our neighbors, and we hear from you. And when over 100 residents show up to a board meeting and say they like something, and when we've subsequently posted on social media, and I've received dozens and dozens and dozens of letters and emails from residents, it shows that we're moving in the right direction. And I'm very proud of that. And we will continue to move in that direction. As Councilman Beal noted earlier, there is currently proposals up in Albany being presented by our governor that would, again, supersede local zoning control and authority of town boards. And again, all of that work that we put in place here in the day in and day out actions that we take could be superseded by these proposals. The governor has proposed eliminating the SEQR, which is the State Environmental Quality Review Act form process on properties that have been previously developed. Now, again, it seems to be rather ambiguous because many properties that are open space today were once developed at some point in time. For example, Cranberry Hills once had a home located on the northwest portion of that property. It was an 1800s home, and the ruins of it are there, but that would qualify as being previously developed by this new proposal. I am proud to say that I signed onto a letter that Riverkeeper has circulated to chief elected officials across the region. And I've signed on to that letter opposing this proposal. There are current avenues that folks can take through the SEQR process, which is the long form and the short form, and I feel that that is adequate. But at the end of the day, this is the only process legally that municipalities have to pause during a development process. That is the process where you consider not just the environment, but the community. You consider the impact on schools through the SEQR process. You consider the impact on traffic, first responders, volunteer firefighters. This town does not have a police department, ambulance. Those are all factors that come up through the SEQR process that could be completely ignored through these proposals. I say this not to get political, because we don't do that up here, at least I don't. We say this because these are the actions that we're advocating for here in your town government. And again, we could say that we've prevented 6,000 multifamily units. We've done the right thing by changing the town code and updating the comprehensive plan to improve your quality of life, but these could be circumvented if adopted. So I feel that this is very important for me to explain to each and every one of you. So we will continue to keep you up to date on that. If you happen to see these things and these letters going out on SEQR, that's the explanation as to where we are. Again, we understand that folks need housing, the town of Wappinger. However, we have 4,006 multifamily units in the town. Just put that in perspective, 4,006 multifamily units. There are towns in this county that don't even have 100. And we are the smallest geographical town in this county, and yet the second most densely populated. These are real numbers, these are the facts, this is what we stand by in this town. So I just wanted to share that with you folks.
The other thing real quick is you'll hear these commercials on the radio talking about how it takes too long to develop in New York State and we need to speed things up. That right there is a red flag. Those commercials are running, they're TV commercials, there's radio commercials. That's the state's effort, in my opinion, to circumvent home rule and to make changes at the state level to eliminate that SEQR process. And we're very cautious and very cognizant of efforts that are occurring at the state level. And that is something we want to stay one step ahead of. And I think we can agree that we're doing our best to do that.
Thank you, Councilman. Also, I'd like to just provide an update too on Tri-Municipal. We had a very fruitful discussion today with New York State DEC and Tri-Municipal's attorneys regarding Tri-Municipal, which is our 3 municipality sewage facility located in the town of Poughkeepsie, where the town of Poughkeepsie, the village of Wappingers Falls, and the town of Wappinger are tenants and contributors to. The town of Wappinger does not have a voting seat for the past 40 years on that commission. I'm proud to say that we've made some progress. I've previously reported to this board that there was a consent order drafted and sent to Tri-Municipal that would have required the town of Wappinger spend millions of dollars on I&I studies. I advocated today to the state our case of, we feel strongly that if we were to do any of these improvements, they should be directed toward pipe in the ground, they should be directed toward fixed assets, not hypothetical studies. And fortunately, they agreed with us. And they have directed us to work with Tri-Municipal to come to some sort of agreement, but it is a very good sign that we no longer have to worry about that threat of the study, and we will continue to work with DEC. We are greatly appreciative to them for having the meeting, and we'll continue to work with them on achieving those goals. This board previously approved funds toward our new radio read antenna system for our water district, United Wappinger Water District. I'm proud to say that that is moving forward. Special shout out to Leanne Freno, our receiver of taxes, and Ty Sales. They've been working collaboratively on getting this moving forward. Proud to say that the infrastructure is going to be mounted atop of the water tower on Cider Mill Loop. That is moving along hopefully rather soon, so we can implement that in the second quarter billing. Essentially, folks, right now, with your current radio read meters, we have a meter reader that goes around and reads the water meters. This will actually be able to be picked up by the radio antenna on top of the water tower. It saves time and money. It would also give residents real-time numbers to their water usage. So we've seen far too many times folks see in their quarterly bill that they might have had a leak, they might have had high usage. This provides them with that real-time data, so we're very excited with moving that forward. We are in the middle of paving. We have completed 2 full neighborhoods so far, and we're not even in May yet, so I'm very proud of our highway department on that. We've done Astor Hill, we've done Stonewall Drive, those 2 neighborhoods, and now we are working on Wildwood Drive. So that is moving along very well. Shout out to the highway department there. We hosted 3 very successful events this weekend. Despite the rain, we had our Earth Day cleanup as well as a drug take-back day. That Earth Day cleanup went all across the town, county roads, state roads, town roads. About 25 residents participated, as well as Councilman Casella. It was a great day. We greatly appreciate everyone for coming out. But also, we are proud to say that in our partnership with Assemblyman Anil Bipan and CAPE, they have successfully picked up 100 pounds of drugs and medications and pharmaceuticals from our town. People were able to come and drop them off right here at Town Hall. That was a very successful event, and we appreciate everyone who participated there. We also had our first ever maple syrup candy making workshop. Special shout out to the Kolb family who operate our Carnwath Community Farm up at Carnwath Farms. They provided the town board today with maple syrup, which was actually tapped from our Castle Point Park in Chelsea. Very, very appreciative of that. But it was a great day. Shout out to our Parks and Recreation team as well. They facilitated all of those in attendance, and it was a great, great day. And finally, I would like to give a shout out to Bill Schweibert, a town resident, who was able to successfully move the new Reese Park Bridge over the Hunter Creek from the Highway Department facility to Reese Park this past Sunday at 6 o'clock in the morning. Special shout out to Sergeant McNamara over at SP Wappinger. They were able to provide us with a state police escort to move this bridge down Route 9 through Houstonville and into Reese Park. The bridge will be mounted across the Hunter Creek this Wednesday. And we are planning a special ribbon cutting ceremony for that early May. So that is very exciting. And then over at Martz Field, special shout out to Buildings and Grounds for removing a lot of the topsoil over at the Tyler Adams soccer pitch. This is the first phase of our generous donation from Scott's Miracle-Gro for our new fully seeded grass soccer field out at Martz Field. So Buildings and Grounds has been doing a great job getting that ready for Scott's to do the work. So a lot of things going on around the town. Thank you for bearing with me for my update, and we're very excited. So I'll turn it over to Councilman Beal.
I'll yield back to 4, since I think you should start this time around.
All right.
Ward 4. Would you like to go
Fine.
first?
I could do it, sure.
Go ahead.
So, a couple of things. So first of all, we had the signed ceremonial contract on Wednesday over at Cranberry. There was a nice little event. We got an opportunity to go out there and see the grounds once again. I've been out there with Supervisor Cavasini. We probably did a 2.5 hour tour on that beautiful piece of property. And hopefully when this thing opens up, everybody gets an opportunity to take a look at what we're purchasing. So great opportunity there. Supervisor also talked about Earth Day, so we had a number of volunteers, so we want to thank them, scouts, town board members, et cetera, out there, so it was a good thing. Picked up a lot of trash, a number of bags and things, so again, always something nice to do. You talked about Martz Field, so you kind of took that one away from me, too.
Sorry, Councilman.
That's okay, but I was out there the other day, and it looks like the field, actually what they did was only the infield, so what they did was they took the entire infield out because it's all clay. And what they did was they replaced it. So they dug it up, replaced it with topsoil, and then scouts go out and do the outfield and infield. So that's going to be a nice facility, but it's going to take 2 or 3 months before that actually comes in. Community Day is May 16th.
Yes.
So that's coming up. That starts at noon. So there's going to be a number of, food and vendors and things like that out there. So everybody gets an opportunity to do it. There'll be fireworks as well. So that's another nice thing. Just for those residents in my particular area, east of all Angels Hill Road and Royal Ridge, they'll be doing hydrant flushing, so that's coming. I want to thank Central Hudson. Actually, they're repaving the roads, so in my development, they put all gas lines in there, all brand-new gas lines, and they're out there. Blacktop Management's actually doing a phenomenal job in Royal Ridge. You talked about some of the roads being paved. Stonewall, Astor, will include Mr. Paoloni's Lane Gate, which also got there, Baker Road, as well. So they're out there doing an outstanding job. And, I got to say, working with our controller, Dan Tucker's done a really, really nice job getting us the information we need. And again, it took time to be able to get that information because we had a vacancy for about 5 or 6 months and catching up. So it's really, really come up to speed here now and is getting the information we need. And I think that's important for us to help us do our job. So special shout out to him. I also want to thank our Planning and Zoning Department. They've been helping me out with a number of issues there with residents. And also Leanne Frino with some water and sewer issues. Neighbor up the road for me. The water bill has doubled. So naturally they came to me, and I've been working with them. And, getting that data, as Joe was talking about before, getting the daily data will certainly help them because there was no water leaks reported. But for some reason, there's using a lot of water, so we got to go investigate. But now with the new technology, we'll be able to do that. So again, thank you, and thanks to the town board for tonight for approving the bond and some of the other things we're doing tonight. So making great progress, and thank you.
Thank you, Councilman. Councilman Phillips.
A number of months ago, the town board agreed to replace the veteran signs, and I saw the results. They're fantastic. They look beautiful, and we've got about 120 or 130 done of 180, so that's fantastic. So if you have, they've gotten in touch with everybody. Not everybody's gotten back to us.
Correct.
So please, if you want a replacement banner, please call the Recreation Department, and it's no cost to you, and they look fantastic, and they're going to start going up in 2 weeks. Saturday, this pains me to say, but is the American Girl doll, tea at Cornwood Farms. And I have to say it because my granddaughter's going,
Yes.
so.
Okay, all right.
Yes.
We'll give you that.
I have to say that. So please, if you're a young lady or a young man who wants to go see the American Girl doll, and they're giving them out too. They'll be raffling off a number of them. So that's fantastic. Also, May 17th is the DAV 5K run walk at Ketchum High School. It's May 17th starts at 11, registration's at 10, so please go out and support them. And it's a great thing between the high school and the DAV. So that's what I got.
Thank you. I just want to piggyback on that American Girl doll tee. It's the first time that we're doing it in the town. Special shout out to town resident Sarah Dobbins, who has stepped up to work with Parks and Recreation, as well as my office, Caitlin, to get that done. I believe 3 of us here have sponsored a number of dolls to be raffled off. Thank you for your support there. And that will be held this Saturday at Carnwath Farms. There will also be the opening of the Sports Museum that season that day, as well as a number of volunteer cleanups going on in the park. So it will be a busy day at Carnwath. Councilwoman Odell.
Great, thank you. I just want to say that I feel like the work that we're doing is managing today's needs and planning responsibly for what comes next. I think we're thinking thoughtfully about balancing preservation with progress. It shows not only that we're addressing today's needs, but actively building toward a future residents can feel proud of, one with protected open spaces, smart development, and strong foundation for the next generation. That's what I really believe. So, thank you.
Thank you, Councilwoman.
Well said. So last week was a tough week for many of